Kaiser Wilhelm II, who ruled Germany from 1888 to 1918, presided over a period of significant political, economic, and social change. Under the Constitution of the German Empire, established in 1871, the Kaiser held substantial power, making him one of the most powerful monarchs in Europe. The Kaiser had the authority to appoint and dismiss the Chancellor, who acted as the head of government, and was responsible only to the Kaiser, not to the Reichstag, the German parliament. This meant that the Kaiser had significant control over the direction of government policy. The Reichstag, although elected by male suffrage, had limited powers and could not remove the Chancellor. The Bundesrat, representing the individual states of the German Empire, also played a role in legislation. But the Kaiser's influence over the Chancellor and the military gave him a dominant position within the political system. Kaiser Wilhelm II was deeply conservative and distrusted democracy, which he associated with disorder and weakness. He believed in the divine right of kings and was determined to maintain strong personal control over the government and military. His opposition to democracy was reflected in his autocratic style of leadership, where he often bypassed the Reichstag and relied on his own advisors and the military to make decisions. Wilhelm's disdain for democratic principles was evident in his efforts to suppress political opposition, particularly from the growing socialist movement, which he saw as a threat to the existing order. During Wilhelm II's reign, Germany underwent rapid economic and social changes. The late 19th and early 20th centuries saw Germany emerge as an industrial powerhouse, with its economy expanding at an unprecedented rate. The growth of industries such as steel, coal, and chemicals transformed the country from a largely agrarian society into one of the most advanced industrial nations in the world. Urbanization accelerated as millions of people moved from rural areas to cities in search of work, leading to the expansion of the working class. This economic transformation brought significant social changes, as traditional social structures were challenged and new social classes, such as the industrial bourgeoisie and the urban proletariat, grew in influence. However, these changes also led to social problems. The rapid growth of cities often resulted in overcrowded and unsanitary living conditions, with many workers facing long hours, low wages, and poor working conditions in factories. These hardships fueled demands for social reforms, including better working conditions, higher wages, and greater political representation. The growing discontent among workers and the broader population led to increasing support for the Social Democratic Party, SPD, which advocated for workers' rights, social welfare programs, and political reform. The SPD became the largest party in the Reichstag by 1912, reflecting the widespread desire for change among the German population. The rise of socialism deeply worried Kaiser Wilhelm II. He viewed the growth of the SPD and the broader socialist movement as a direct challenge to the traditional hierarchy and the monarchy itself. Socialists, with their calls for greater democracy, social justice, and redistribution of wealth, were seen by the Kaiser as a threat to the stability of the empire. In response, Wilhelm sought to counter the influence of socialism through a combination of repression and social policy. He supported the introduction of anti-socialist laws aimed at curbing the activities of the SPD and other left-wing groups, although these measures were only partially effective and often served to further radicalize the opposition. Wilhelm II also attempted to win over the working class by supporting a range of social reforms, such as old-age pensions, health insurance, and accident insurance, initially introduced by his grandfather, Kaiser Wilhelm I, and Chancellor Otto von Bismarck. However, these efforts were insufficient to quell the growing demand for more substantial political and social changes. The Kaiser's refusal to embrace meaningful democratic reforms and his reliance on authoritarian measures to maintain control ultimately contributed to the increasing polarization of German society. By the early 20th century, Germany was a nation in which significant economic and social changes were challenging the traditional autocratic system. Yet the Kaiser remained resistant to democratization. The tensions between the growing demands for reform and the Kaiser's determination to maintain his power would continue to build, ultimately contributing to the political instability that would erupt into crisis during and after World War I.